Hey guys, welcome to my new setup. As you can see, got a new camera setup, lighting, same audio system, but essentially, if I'm going to be sitting at my desk, I definitely feel like you guys deserve better production value, especially now that I'm monetized. So if I'm sitting at my desk, you guys are gonna have this camera, this beautiful Sony a7 III. I have a bunch of cameras that are kind of sitting dusty in my room. So I wanted to give you guys the production that you guys deserve. And ironically enough, I got a complaint on my last video that my production quality at my desk was boring and maybe bad. And you know, they were just mad because I created a video about how I don't like Pride. So they, of course, started with attacking me about the quality of my videos without waiting to see that I am, in fact, improving the quality of my videos. I'm not going to stop doing walk and talks in the woods and maybe in my car, but I think if I'm inside, I have no excuse but to use and utilize my good quality camera equipment that I really never use anymore. I used to be a wedding videographer, for those of you that don't know, and it'll kind of go hand in hand with what I'm talking about today, which is the movie Disclosure. I do have, if you want to know my credentials on speaking about the movie Disclosure, I do have film experience. I've been a professional videographer for about 6 years. I know the ins and outs of good filmmaking and how to have a cinematic experience, a good cinematic experience. I know how to edit, obviously. I know how to create awesome storylines that capture the audience, and that is why I'm so interested in movies. Something that maybe you guys didn't know about me is that I'm a partial movie buff, and what that means to me is partial means that for the past decade, maybe a little bit more, I have been obsessed with consuming sci-fi and horror movies, and sci-fi horror movies. So for the past decade, maybe once a week, maybe a few times a week, I consume a new horror movie or sci-fi movie, or mixed. And it could be me going to the movie theater, or it could be me on a streaming service. So the movie could be old, or the movie could be brand new. I don't just consume brand new movies, I also consume old movies. So I know a thing or two about how to make a good movie, good writing, and good or bad movies. Like, you can literally look at a movie and say, this is a terrible movie, but I love it anyway because it's so terrible, right? Especially some really campy, stupid horror movies. An example of a really stupid, campy horror movie that I love is The Ginger Dead Man. I think that is such a funny movie. It features Gary Busey. That's just an example. An amazing movie that I have seen recently in the theaters just within the past few months, I would say Predator Badlands. You know, I'm a huge fan of Predator, Alien versus Predator, Alien, all that stuff. So it was amazing to see a brand new Predator movie. They haven't come out with one in a while. Fantastic effects. I highly recommend it. I think it's out on streaming services now. But today I wanted to talk about Steven Spielberg's movie, because I love Steven Spielberg movies. I'm not going to sit here and say I love Steven Spielberg and you should respect him no matter what. But he is a great movie director. Like, he has made some amazing movies, and some movies, of course, I would say that I have seen that I love. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, one of my most favorite classic movies of all time. It actually makes me emotional in some scenes. I actually saw it recently, a few months ago, so I remember it very clearly. Really good movie, even for the fact that it was made a pretty long time ago in 1977. It's an old ass movie and it's still good to this day. E.T. is a classic. I wouldn't say it's a favorite movie of mine, but my initials are E.T., so I consider it to be very close to my heart. People always used to come up to me and say, E.T. phone home, E.T. phone me. Just stupid, corny stuff like that, but E.T. is close to my heart. And it was like my mom's favorite movie, so we just always watched it as kids. Twilight Zone, amazing movie. Jurassic Park, come on, those are amazing movies. Artificial Intelligence, one of my favorite movies as a kid. I just saw Minority Report with my girlfriend. She showed me that. That was pretty good, you know, no complaints there. War of the Worlds is one of my most favorite movies ever. It is in the top, and I think because of the build-up. I think the build-up of War of the Worlds is intense. And when I first saw it in theaters. I think I was maybe 12 years old. And oh my God, it terrified me. I think I was terrified for the next month of my life that aliens were going to take over the world. And there was nothing we could do about it. That's literally what I got from that movie. Over time, though, I got over that. But it was an intense, scary movie, especially for its time. Now, I didn't go into Disclosure Day thinking it was going to be like any of these movies, really, right? Maybe like Close Encounters, maybe similar to that, maybe similar to Artificial Intelligence, maybe similar to that movie Arrival. Let's see who directed Arrival. Because I'm going to bring up Arrival as a movie that's very similar to this movie, but it's actually done really well. It's made in 2016. Who is the director? Not that it really matters. Not okay, Dennis, whatever. Never heard of him. Fantastic movie, good acting. I mean, some parts were a little corny. So, sci-fi movies can be corny. Have you ever watched movies on the Sci-Fi Channel? Typically, they're a little corny. But I just want to say Disclosure Day was comically corny and comically bad. Now, I am not a movie critic. If you look at my other videos on my YouTube channel, it's mostly controversial topics. You'll see my playlists are critical thinking, self-improvement, and now Reddit advice. But all the themes kind of tie together in almost every single video. All the themes are typically present within every single video. And I know not Reddit advice is tied in with every single video, but the advice I give is tied in with maybe my self-improvement section or my critical thinking section. So these are kind of the topics I talk about, and I really feel like I can tie in my usual discussion topics with today's video on how terrible Disclosure Day was. I'm sorry, Steven Spielberg. You really dropped the ball on this one, and we're going to go into why. First of all, I hear people saying the writing was bad, the movie was confusing, it was all over the place, it was a mess, it was vague, the whole movie's a build-up. And I agree with that. We'll come back to that. But then they add, but the technical aspects were good. The camera movements were good. The CGI was good. The cinematography was good. The acting was good. I disagree with that as well. I think the CGI was terrible. Now, I just saw a few movies in theaters with CGI, The Mandalorian, and we'll say Predator Badlands, okay? The Mandalorian, I actually saw after Disclosure Day. Awesome movie. It actually got me into wanting to actually see the show Mandalorian, which I don't even really like Star Wars, and I don't even really like TV series. I don't like TV series. I prefer movies, but it got me into wanting to watch the TV series. It was that good. And I have been watching it. TV series is pretty good. In both the TV series and the movie, which you can really never, it's a hit or a miss in a TV series with the CGI, but in both the series and the movie, they're very similar. Very good CGI, it's believable, your eye is like, well, of course I know that's CGI, but it's like it looks good, right? And same with Predator Badlands. I mean, the entire movie, Predator Badlands, was CGI. Like, probably even, like, the background and the location was all fucking green screened. But you don't notice it. It's just so freaking good. And they both of these movies feature monsters, animals, you know, things that don't even exist in this world. But it's good, it's believable. You watch it and you're like, you feel like you're there. That's how good it is. With Steven Spielberg, the first CGI animal that entered the screen, I was like, oh no, this movie is about to be really terrible. Just because of the CGI animal that entered the screen. I'm pretty sure it was a deer. The first one that entered the screen was a deer. And then there was a fox, and then the alien. By the way, there's probably spoilers. I'm gonna try not to spoil it too much, but there might be spoilers. Disclaimer. But I think the fox was the worst. It was like one of the characters went up to this fox, or two characters went up to this fox, and it was just so bad. It looked like a children's movie, in my opinion. And I'm not here to see Disclosure Day as a child. I'm here as an adult looking for an intelligent, thoughtful, interesting, provoking sci-fi movie. A movie with a deeper meaning. Yeah, we'll get more into what I initially expected, but yeah, CGI was bad. Camera movements, terrible and unnecessary. I remember Steven Spielberg in War of the Worlds. That was like one of the first movies ever with the type of camera movements that anybody has ever done or tried or attempted. The type of camera movements he implemented in that movie were like new and unique and difficult to pull off. And he did it. And like, that is a movie where his camera movement was fire, I would say. But the camera movements in this movie, it was like, this is so unnecessary. Like, that just made me dizzy. Why did you do that type of a thing? Like, and of course, as a person who's into filmmaking, videography, cinematography, I notice these things when I watch a movie. So when I watched this movie, I was noticing things. And here's the thing. When you have people who like videography, who understand it, who went to school for it, and they notice these things in a movie, that's bad. You want to create a movie where videographers, cinematographers do not notice what you're doing. You want them to be so encapsulated by your movie that they don't notice these things, that they're not tirelessly watching and criticizing what you're doing in the movie. And I noticed these things, and I knew when these things started happening, I was like, oh God, I notice it. Like, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what he's doing. I'm seeing his ideas, and they're just not working. One really bad scene was with the car on the train. I'm just going to leave it at that. Really horrible scene. Terrible camera movements, terrible, unrealistic. It was just bad. Some people say, well, he made this movie for the 70s, you know? He's a boomer making movies for boomers. And it's like, okay, but that's not who's really seeing movies right now. Like, who's really seeing movies? Gen Z. The premise of the movie is there's a guy who's trying to share information and disclose information about aliens. How we're not treating aliens correctly, how aliens exist, how they're actually coexisting with us right now and we have no idea. And the thing is, he's trying to release this information to the public because he thinks the public deserves to know. And the only way he can release it is if he goes on to mainstream news and lets people know. First of all, nobody believes mainstream news anymore. This is like a boomer idea where the only true information anymore is on the mainstream news. That's not true. The majority of generations living on this planet right now get their news and media and information from social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, online. And whether you think that's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. It's the principle, which is like, we are starting to heavily distrust mainstream media. So if this was released on the news, there's people going around making like these little videos of like this shit coming out on like an article or on Facebook or on the news and just being like, huh, I don't care, I gotta go to work, you know? It's like so unrealistic. It's so unrealistic. And now this could all be faked with AI. So people are in a state of mind right now where we heavily distrust anything being fed to us, especially through the mainstream news, because we have been taught or conditioned almost to not trust it, because everything that we've been fed the past 5 or 6 years, now we know has been false or propaganda or pushing to promote something that is not good for us. And so realistically, the movie just doesn't work. And it's through the mindset of a boomer who, the boomer generation was a high trust society. So, and we are now a very low trust society. So being fed information only through mainstream media news and having it be believable is actually really unrealistic. But okay, moving on. So what did I expect this movie to be? I didn't expect, okay. One thing that I really want to talk about in this video, before this video gets too fucking long, is the reactions that people have. So let's just look at a couple comments here. The comments are very one way or the other. It's either people saying like, yeah, it was a terrible movie. Look, people are calling the anchor at the end one of the best performances in Disclosure Day. Totally disagree. I don't think her I'm not gonna hate on this actress. I don't think it was the worst performance in the world, but it was corny. It was corny, to say the least. Movie was awful. I was watching it thinking she deserves an award. Boring, barely made it to the end. It was also a very boring movie, totally agree. This movie is the worst, stop hyping the BS. I think actually the movie got like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. Steven Spielberg paid these people off to be making these posts, to be getting good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. He paid these people off. Disclosure Day first reactions are calling it Spielberg's best film in 20 years. And then I see things saying they're calling it the worst Spielberg film in 20 years. So it's like, who's correct? Worst film in 20 years, absolutely predictable and boring. I agree. 6.5 out of 10, boring as hell. Literally no one is saying that this movie is crap. See, like, you'll go see, like, people who were paid off to say that Disclosure Day was amazing, but then you'll see the audience, and the audience is actually saying that it's terrible. I think the majority of viewers think it was bad. Film was garbage. Movie had potential, but a waste of time. I agree. My girlfriend and I went to see this movie. She also hated it. And I also want to bring in the fact that people, yeah, see, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I also want to bring in the fact that people are saying and judging people who didn't like the movie, saying that we are unempathetic, that we didn't get it. Every comment of defending this movie is saying that if you didn't like this movie, you just didn't get it. You just didn't understand it. And I'm over here like, what didn't I get? I do get it. I have been researching alien conspiracy theories now for 20 years. My dad was into it, my brother was into it, so I was kind of forced into it. So I've been researching alien conspiracy theories since I was a child. What do you mean I don't get it? What do I not get? And then there's some people that are like, it's not an alien movie, it's a movie about empathy. And I'm like, what? Okay, then what's there not to get? When people say you don't get it, they don't explain what I'm not getting. And then they say, oh, well, you were expecting to see War of the Worlds. I wasn't expecting to see War of the Worlds. I wasn't. I know you cannot recreate War of the Worlds because it's a very unique movie. I knew I wasn't going in to see an alien invasion movie. I knew I was going in to see something about the disclosure of aliens. Wow, it's Disclosure Day. And by that, I didn't think that it was going to be an alien invasion movie. I thought it was going to just be a profound movie, but it ended up falling flat and being incredibly boring, incredibly basic. It wouldn't even be a movie that I would put on any top tier list of movies that I have seen. If I could say, it's probably one of the worst it's definitely the worst Steven Spielberg movie I've ever seen. I can say that. I don't want to be super hyperbolic because then I could come off as, people are saying that this is like hate corn, you know? That people are just hating this movie to hate it. The reality is that this movie deserves the hate that it's getting. Not every movie that I dislike deserves hate. There's so many movies that I see that I dislike, but not enough for me to make a YouTube video about it. But the way that people are condescending the people who don't like it, like, I'm not making assumptions about people who do like it, although I will say, now that I have you here, my assumptions about people who like this movie are maybe living in a Disney World's fantasy. They like things that are simplistic. They enjoy things that are, you know, people who like this movie seem to be very gullible people. They seem to be people who will fall for anything. They seem to be people who are easily emotionally manipulated. Maybe people who like that Disney vibe. Now, my girlfriend cries over every movie that she sees. Like, she gets emotional, not every movie, but she gets emotional with movies, and her and I both agree that this movie was boring and terrible, and there was nothing to be emotional about. But people in the comments are constantly saying, if you didn't like this movie, if you didn't cry at this movie, then you have no empathy, you have no emotions, you have no feelings. You didn't get it, you didn't understand it. And I'm like, what am I not getting? But let's watch a couple of these reviews here.
I have seen Disclosure Day, and I am regrettably underwhelmed. I don't even know if I'm going to post this because I'm seeing the movie tomorrow, and I do think I need one more viewing and a little bit more time to digest. The third act of this movie hits a flow state, an insanely engaging flow state that I absolutely adored. Getting to that point felt like a chore. A chore that I think I found a little too corny a little too often. A chore with a few too many annoying conveniences. And my issues don't lie with Steven Spielberg. I love the direction of this film. I love the way certain scenes are lit. I love the way certain scenes are staged. And his story is beautiful in theory, if executed properly with a pen. But I struggle to latch on to David Koech's writing. And this is a movie that rewards patience. And this is a movie where if you don't buy into his ideas of faith and finding meaning and empathy, his ideas of truth, his ideas of hope, his ideas of compassion and communication, manipulation and anxieties about misinformation, if you don't buy into everything he has to say, this isn't necessarily going to work for you. And I fear that's what happened with me. The third act reeled me back in, although I hesitate to say reeled me back in because I don't think it ever had me. I did not find myself buying into his writing until the third act, at which point I was too far gone. Those are just quick out of theater thoughts. I literally just stepped into my apartment and I watched the movie only 20 minutes ago. Watching it again tomorrow, I will post another review.
Okay, and then some people are like, your credentials are? Why do we need credentials to critique a movie? People are obsessed with like, you need credentials to critique anything. It's like, no, I don't need credentials to critique a movie. Had to save this video so I could come back after seeing the movie. This guy has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. It's like, what? The movie Disclosure reveals the origins behind Close Encounters and so much more. Completely blew me away. I don't know how. Visions of loved ones started happening. I nearly walked out. So corny. So corny when she starts like talking to people and people see their loved ones. You can tell like that was the moment he wanted you to cry. Not even like a lump in my throat. Nothing. No feelings at all. I also think, like, I don't even remember the fucking characters' names, but the guy with all the information in his backpack and the girl, horrible actors. Terrible acting. Super corny. Let's go to another one. I saved all these because either the comments or what the person had to say, but let's see. You must have watched a different movie. I thought it was disappointing. Exactly. The first reaction to Disclosure Day are calling Spielberg's UFO Return one of his strongest. It's not it's really not an alien movie. All paid promotion. Do you actually believe these sites write good reviews? Okay, so I kind of have to like re-record half of this video. Maybe it'll be shorter now. Yeah, I have to re-record half this video because I forgot the Sony camera likes to turn off at 30 minutes, so I gotta be more aware of that. Anyway, yeah, so the 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, definitely think Spielberg was paid off. I do not believe that he actually got 90% on this movie. I think he was totally paid off. Or he paid off Rotten Tomatoes. The team of his paid off whoever to say really great things about this movie, because I'm pretty sure the majority of viewers of this movie did not like this movie. I'm pretty sure. But one thing I want to bring up is empathy. I really don't think that humanity knows what empathy is anymore. Anyway, so people telling you online, oh, if you saw this movie and you felt nothing, you're not empathetic. And I want to bring up this woman here. I think what she has to say is incredibly true and important to this day and age. I really I really don't think people understand what empathy is anymore. I think people think empathy is saying, like, posting something online and saying, look, I'm a good person. Look at this. I'm a good person. And saying, if you don't believe what I believe, then you're a bad person. It's kind of like a good versus evil type of thing. Ever since COVID, people have been really just losing their touch with empathy. I think people are more willing to rat people out and throw people under the bus more than ever these days, especially with social media. But I think social media, COVID, I think that really dissolved humanity's ability to feel empathy, but they also think like life should be a Disney movie. It's really strange. It's like a really strange combination. Corny people liked this corny ass movie. Corny people liked this corny ass movie. If you liked this movie, I consider you to be a corny ass person who's very gullible, easily manipulated emotionally. So I want to show you what this woman has to say. She says it better than I could ever say it.
Like a social experiment to me. This is a movie that truly feels impossible to talk about on the internet, and not just because talking about pretty much anything on the internet in 2026 is a largely bad time, but because the way that this conversation is unfolding, it's very clear that the conversation is about so much more than the movie itself. It's about what Spielberg stands for, the monumental figure that he is in the industry, what he represents, what his ideology represents to people. And every opinion that you have is inherently moralized by the internet. You are either right or wrong. You have to be on the right side of history about everything, and that includes whether or not you liked movies. Just for those of you taking notes. And the internet always bends over backwards if you don't like something that they like, or if you like something that they didn't like, to tell you that the reason you feel that way is because your opinion is wrong. You either didn't get it or you lack something. You lack the capability for empathy or the ability to embrace sentimentality. You're too cynical. You're too stupid. You're too whatever. Like, you are the problem. Your opinion is wrong because of you. You're a bad person, actually. I don't know if I hate to be the one to tell you this, but it's true. And all of that.
So that's essentially the best thing I have heard about this movie and people's reactions towards people who don't like this movie. Perfect comment. She should have pinned it. You've completely missed what the movie was actually about. The movie exposed literal reality. How? Not one person has been able to explain to me what I'm not getting. Like, what am I not getting? I went into this movie expecting a deeply profound sci-fi movie. That's all. I wasn't expecting War of the Worlds. I wasn't expecting a horror movie. I wasn't expecting anything like that, or crazy UFO or alien anything. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting profound insight. And this did not deliver. It was corny as hell. It didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. Very few people get it. Oh no, we all get it. It just doesn't do a very good job of that either. The movie is essentially the first act of a complete 3-act structure, which is why it feels hollow all around. To expose reality would be not only to reveal reality, the closing scene, but to also force a reckoning and resolution against the prior stakeholders. Big secretive government, financial systems, all religions, to demonstrate of what our new reality is moving forward. Exactly. I might have said this in my other recording that I didn't record. The movie should have started with the disclosure. It should not have been the build-up to the disclosure, because that was incredibly boring and messy and vague. And like, my girlfriend turned to me during the middle of the movie and was like, is any of this coming together for you? And I'm like, no, I'm kind of lost in the sauce here. It was like, there's a bunch of puzzle pieces floating around. Some movies do this really well. The movie Crash does this really well. Throughout the entire movie, there's just these puzzle pieces floating around above your head. But then throughout the movie, everything starts to connect, despite the fact that there's different scenes, different characters, different everything. But it all starts to connect. And it creates a puzzle piece picture at the end where all the pieces are connected. This movie leaves the puzzle pieces floating in the air, and by the end of the movie, it ends and you're dissatisfied. So So I'll bring this one up because it has a funny comment. This comment. So these people just said the movie fell flat, we didn't like it. This comment says, are you guys not getting it? Just watch Bashar and look up UFO files. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bashar, but it's supposedly this alien that comes through this human guy, who is a vessel. Yes, it's real life. It's ridiculous. And the alien inside of him speaks to humanity. I don't care if you believe that type of shit or not, but this person saying look up Bashar and look up UFO files, which I think is a show, it's like, really? That is so corny. Damn, the internet really hates this movie. You know why the internet hates this movie? It's because we went in expecting Steven Spielberg sci-fi, which he has made quite a few sci-fi movies. We went in not just expecting a sci-fi movie, we went in expecting a Steven Spielberg sci-fi movie. And we got Lifetime Hallmark movie-esque sci-fi movie, okay? We didn't get Steven Spielberg level sci-fi movie. A good video talking about like the threads that were just missing. A good video, I think it's this one.
Did from the third act, which is supposed to be this like big emotional climax. And I was disappointed because everyone was saying they were like sobbing at it and all of that. I really wanted to feel that punch at the end because everything up until then I was like really liking. I love how just like weird and ambitious and just sort of out there this movie is. But I think David Koepp's script is so all over the place. So it's one of those situations where I'm like, I love every single idea that's being played with here. But when I think about it at the end, like I don't feel emotionally connected to it as much as I want to, but also when I like follow all of these threads, I don't know if a lot of them come together in a satisfying way.
She's absolutely right. The movie is a mess from start to finish. I wanted to like it, I really did. Sam, I wanted to like this movie. I didn't go in thinking, I'm gonna bash this movie in a YouTube video. I didn't think that, but here I am. Very boring chase movie considered walking out. Yeah, a lot of the movie was a chase scene. Very odd. I don't care if Emily Blunt was a good actress in the movie. She was okay. I think the other actors were not good, though. I think Emily Blunt was okay. I don't really think it matters, though, because she didn't save the movie. Here's him talking about empathy.
This movie does not believe in empathy, I don't think. These aliens can control people. They weaponize empathy so that the people don't have agency. Emily Blunt is a vessel for these beings. She's not really in control of her powers that they gave her. They force everyone around her, if they make eye contact with her, to see dead loved ones telling them the thing that they need to hear. Like, completely cripples them physically. That's not empathy. That's a weapon.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever that guy says, the non-bald guy, he makes no sense. His words are word salad. A lot of this movie was just movie salad. It was a mix of things that just kind of didn't come together. Maybe even like a movie soup. Nothing really made sense. I don't think... If you didn't like this movie, I think you have every right to not like this movie. If you like this movie, you have every right to like this movie. I'm gonna stand here and say, since people who didn't like this movie are taking a ton of shit, being called unempathetic, unintelligent, we just didn't get it. We don't like alien conspiracy theories, apparently. I'm just gonna sit here and say, if you like this movie, you're gullible. You have a Disney mindset. I cry with movies. I told you I got emotional with Close Encounters, and that is a Steven Spielberg movie. I didn't even get remotely a lump in my throat with this movie. Like, it was so boring. I don't know what else to tell you. Corny people like this corny movie. It is corny as hell. I would say if you haven't seen it, but you want to see it, go ahead. It's a bit of a train wreck. Waste your money. I spent $18 per ticket to see this movie, and that's a little fucked up in my mind. Spent almost $20 to see this horrible movie, although movies are one thing I never regret seeing. The reason that this has exploded on the internet is not because it's hate corn. You know, some people are saying, oh, people will just hate movies to make content. Because people love content where people hate things. I totally disagree with that. People are coming out and saying, this is not a good movie. This is a Steven Spielberg film, and it looks and seems like a Hallmark movie or a Lifetime movie. This is not Steven Spielberg level. The writing is terrible. I don't know that writer, but terrible writing, terrible camera movements, terrible everything. It's corny. It's bad. I think it really shows where humanity has gone, in that they will just accuse you of being a certain way if you don't like something. And I know I'm kind of doing that too by saying, if you like this movie, you're a gullible Disney brain simpleton. Jumping on the bandwagon there, but I cannot imagine liking this movie. It is just so bad. It is just so fucking bad, you guys. But anyway, I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing movies like this often. This is not necessarily something I want to do with my channel. I just wanted to bring in the themes of empathy and pretty much explain that humanity doesn't understand true empathy anyway. And then accusations towards people who don't think like you, I guess. But I definitely think the majority of people who watch this movie don't like it. I wouldn't even recommend this movie to people who I know tend to like corny movies and tend to be gullible and tend to like these heartfelt simpleton type of movies. I wouldn't even recommend it to them. I think the movie's trash. I think if you want to see it just to watch the train wreck, go ahead. Not the scene where the train actually gets wrecked. The entire movie is a train wreck. So if you want to go see it to watch this train wreck of a movie, go ahead and see it just for that. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. Let me know. I'd be interested to know what my audience thinks about it. If you haven't seen it, let me know. If you want to see it. Yeah, I don't even know if I talked about the CGI in the last recording, but the CGI was terrible. Everything about this movie was terrible. Anyway. Yeah, I won't be doing a lot of movie reviews in the future. I just had to do it on this one because of how bad it was. And I wanted to bring in the themes of empathy and self-improvement and critical thinking from the reactions to this movie. And where society is heading and where humanity is heading in terms of intelligence, empathy, understanding, and all of that. And I don't think it's going anywhere good, that's for sure. And unfortunately, indie movies, actually fortunately, indie movies are now going to, I think, outrank any Hollywood movie anymore. Because Hollywood is, we know what's going on in Hollywood with the PDF file rings, and we know that Hollywood is a bunch of BS and always has been, always will be. I'd rather watch some indie movies at this point, and they're way better anyway. The writing, the cinematography, the storylines, the originality, so much better than any Hollywood film that I have seen. Some Hollywood films are good, but anyway, let me know what you think down below. This is my first time kind of with all this freaking equipment in my face, all these screens, and trying to keep track of the camera turning off and the audio, and it's like I have to monitor multiple things at once, making sure everything looks good, sounds good, feels good. So if I seem a little distracted at times in this video, I apologize. I'm trying to do like 50 things at the same time. It will definitely become more streamlined and second nature to me the more that I do it. But I am literally the videographer, the sound person, the actor or the host of the show, the lighting person, the gaffer, the editor in this setup here. So please be patient with me as I figure all this new stuff out, and hopefully can start to make some really good videos at my desk. Again, I'll still be doing walk and talks or car talks, but when I'm at my desk doing Reddit or doing like maybe a little movie review or doing things where I want to show you stuff on the computer, I will be here at the desk with my good camera, good lighting, cool stuff in the background, and hopefully you guys enjoy my channel evolution. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you in the next video.